Hello to all of my subscribers, and like I've been saying on Twitter, I was gonna try to do something different and new, well, for my channel. I know it's not gonna be new for every channel, but I live in Canada. I thought it'd be interesting to talk about creepy and abandoned places, which are still creepy, inside my home country. Anyways, this will be the first video, and I think I'm going to go province by province, and I can always revisit provinces later to do different places. I'm just going to try not to shove too much into one video, or it'll end up being 3 hours long, and nobody will want to watch it. So, yeah, that's how that's going to go. And the first one that we're going to do is Alberta. And I should have started with BC. I did start researching BC, and then I got lost in like Alberta, and I got all my places for Alberta done, and then I only have one place for BC researched. So that's what we're gonna do with that. Let's start with Alberta. The first place is in Calgary, Alberta, and it is the Grace Hospital that's now known as the Riley Park Health Center. And there's said to be a ghost of a woman that haunts the delivery room. Well, what used to be the delivery room there. People have said that when women give birth in this room, that it becomes very difficult for them in their labor, and they end up having to have a C-section in the end, which in my mind would be super scary, because with both of my kids, I did not want a C-section. It's scary for me, the whole idea of surgery, and all that kind of stuff really freaks me out, maybe because I've never had surgery in my life, but yeah, that's not my thing. And people say that the ghost that haunts this room's name is Maudine Riley. I hope I pronounced that right, I'm terrible with names. Was a woman who passed away, as well as her baby giving birth in that hospital. The reason people think that she is haunting the room is because she doesn't want other mothers to give birth in the same room. And a lot of people aren't sure why, but they think that that's the reason the mothers have a difficult labor. People have said they heard pipes banging, windows opening and closing in that room, other strange things like that. And the creepiest thing for me is that there is a monument of her across the street. And for me, that'd be scary, going to a place to give birth or something, and just the whole history of it is kind of what makes it creepy. This place isn't abandoned. It might not be creepy to everybody else, but for me, for like the hard labors and the surgeries and all that kind of stuff, you know, it just kind of freaks me out. The next abandoned / creepy place in Alberta is in Edmonton, which is actually the city where I grew up. It's called the Charles Camsell Hospital. The Charles Camsell Hospital in Edmonton was built in 1967 and closed in 1996. It was a tuberculosis sanatorium, and many Aboriginal patients were forced to go there, and it ran parallel to residential schools. Some were even involuntarily sterilized because of so-called defects, and terrible nutritional experiments were performed. Had to get rid of my cat. He was scratching me and clawing my legs because I wasn't paying attention to him, and it was kind of driving me crazy. Anyways, my leg is bleeding underneath my tights now. And my finger hurts. On the second floor, there was a surgical ward, and supposedly when people had done, what's it called? Those abandoned, where they go into abandoned places and stuff, half the floor used to be stained in blood. It wasn't until they started doing construction on it, because someone had bought it and they want to turn it into a place to live, like a residential condo area, which, in my opinion, with everything that has happened there and just the history, I wouldn't want to live in the exact same building that has just been renovated. in, from my opinion. And on the 4th floor was a psychiatric wing where there was forced shock treatment and isolation chambers, which was normal for asylums back then to have, but still not okay. In 1982, a man repairing the roof fell off and died, and paranormal investigators have, in fact, found paranormal activity. If you believe in paranormal investigators and stuff, I do. I would actually be interested in visiting a lot of these places because they're close to me, which would be kind of nice, but some of them are actually you can't visit anymore, so, like this one. They said the elevator in the morgue operates on its own, and you can hear voices and screams recorded. And I was looking, and I cannot find this investigation, but when I do, I'll update you guys, because I want to see the video. I want to see it, and if you know where it is, let me know. So, with the Charles Camsell Hospital, in conclusion, it is a very creepy place, and there are videos and first-hand accounts on the internet that you can see, and some of the pictures will be after all this too, but you cannot go to that place anymore and explore it because it has been bought by a private developer who wants to remove the asbestos and let people live there. Maybe when people living there, someone you know will live there and you can check it out, tell everybody if it's haunted or not for realsies, maybe? That'd be cool. But with the history there and stuff, I wouldn't feel comfortable living in a place like that. The last haunted place, or creepy place I would like to talk about tonight, is a place that's actually still open and running. It's called the Banff Springs Hotel, obviously, in Banff, I would hope. It's a luxury hotel that was built during the 19th century and first opened June 1st, 1888. This century thing never made sense to me. The hotel's historian says there's 2 ghosts that actually inhabit the premise. Can't talk. The first one a lot of people know is actually of a older man who worked at the hotel for a very long time, and his name was Sam the Bellman. He died in 1975. And there was a couple conflicting dates, so if 1975 isn't right, please forgive me. Another website said 1978, and then another one said 1975. Still in the late 1970s. He always threatened to come back and haunt the hotel, according to hearsay and stuff like that. People that worked with him and guests have reported being helped by a Scottish bellman who fits the description and is wearing older clothing, which to me is completely freaky. I would not want to be helped by someone that wasn't even wearing the uniform because, well, like, yeah, like wearing a really old uniform. That'd freak me out. The elevator doors open and close randomly, which is another saying is that's Sam's way of saying hello. It's like a secret way of saying hello. And would make sense because I've seen bellmans do that actually when I read that. I've seen bellmans before push it and just look at you like I have. And the next legend that goes with the hotel is actually a pretty popular one of the doomed bride. It's supposedly of a bride who was walking down a staircase and she fell and landed on a torch and set her dress on fire and broke her neck, which people have reported seeing her dance in the Cascade Ballroom, the dance she never had with her husband, and walking up and down the stairs. She died before her wedding banquet, which was pretty terrible, and that is just a tragedy. I would haunt it too. Room 692 isn't one I've heard of too much. There wasn't very much on it, just a few like accounts and reports of people who stayed in the room. Apparently in room 692, staff have claimed it's hard to book because guests report pillows being yanked out from underneath their heads and being shoved off the bed, and yeah, I wouldn't stay there either. Thank you very much. And the other room is a room that they'll tell you never existed, and it has, but they don't like talking about it because of the history. Room 873 is a room that an entire family was murdered in, and guests report being woken up by screaming. The lights, when they turn them on, there's bloody handprints on their mirror. Like, just imagine that you wake up and there's bloody handprints on your mirror. It's a mirror, by the way. I'm a vampire, okay. I was like, where's my reflection? You can still see the room from the outside. If you were to like go outside and stand out there, you'd see all the different windows. Like, it's not like they took the window out, but on the inside it is completely like blocked off, and it looks like the room was never there. There's even a light above that some people have pointed out that will probably be in the pictures. There's only lights above every single room. So that's a hotel I have a deep interest in staying in and further doing research on, because everything I've read is like so completely different. Everybody says different things. Everybody says this. Everybody says that. Like, I want to stay there myself and see what it's like for myself. That would be cool. Not really if it's actually scary, because I'm a big wimp. And I hope you guys liked that video. The next one I will be doing is BC, creepy places in BC, and I can always revisit Alberta. You guys can always comment below different abandoned or creepy or haunted places. It doesn't even have to be abandoned. There's places that people are in today that are haunted below, and I could always revisit those places when I come back to Alberta. Regardless, this was fun. I like doing the research. I like learning about this stuff. I got to watch a lot of cool documentaries and stuff, and with all the research I did, I wrote down all of the references and everything, so all the articles I read and all the videos I watched and all the websites I went to will be below, because all of these people put a lot of work into their reports and into their videos, and I want them to get credit for what they've done. And it's probably going to be the longest list in the world, but sorry about that. It's just because I like to be super in-depth, and anything that I actually take information from that I didn't take from anywhere else, I write down. So it just makes sense to me. So I'll see you guys hopefully either tomorrow or the next day with the next one, and any more abandoned places anywhere across Canada. Just make sure you comment the province so it's easier to find. I'll look into. I'll see you guys later.